Maybe you're in your 50s and you're wondering, is this it? Is this all I am now? What's coming next? If that's where you are, nothing is wrong with you. You're not falling apart. You're in a transition. In this video, we're going to name what's really happening, what to do when you feel lost, and a few gentle steps to help you move forward without feeling like you have to do a full reinvention. There is a lie told to every woman in their 50s. Well, there's actually two lies. One is, this is your time to bloom. These are the new 30s. The second is, it's all downhill from here. Menopause and visibility. Neither is true or useful. Here's what's actually happening. You're in the middle of a transition, not a rebirth, a transition. And transitions are messy and not linear, and they don't come with timelines. Nobody taught us how to sit with uncertainty. We were taught to solve things and push forward. But some seasons aren't meant to be solved. They're meant to be moved through honestly and giving grace to ourselves while we do it. For most women in this stage, it's not just one thing landing. It can be two or three things. Your body is changing. Think of it as puberty, deja vu. We lived with that once. Now we got to go through it again. Menopause is real. It affects everything. It affects your sleep, your emotions, how you physically feel, brain fog that often makes you question your own mind. We live in a culture that often doesn't talk about this openly. So we kind of have to face it all alone. But in reality, we're facing a massive hormonal shift that would bring most people, would bring men to their knees. You are not crazy. You are not weak. Your body is just doing something enormous. Another thing that could be in transition is your work life is shifting. You may be in a job that you've been in for years that now feels hollow. Maybe the industry's changed around you, or you could be 52 and laid off with nobody calling you back. I found myself in a similar situation. I wasn't laid off, but I was facing pretty bad ageism at 55. I left because I had another opportunity, and it was working for myself. So got out of a bad situation. Another thing is you may be doing well. You may be at the peak of your career and are wondering, well, what comes after that? What happens when I start to slide? What can I do next? This is when success feels like a ceiling and not a sky. Relationships are reorganizing. If you have children, they could be on their way to college or leaving home permanently. I mean, you know it's coming, but it still hits hard. I also want to talk to you out there who never had children, be it by choice, be it by loss, be it by circumstance. Your experience is very real and often less acknowledged. You may be watching your social circle change or constrict because friends are now getting involved with grandchildren and don't really have the time for you. Sometimes you might be feeling that you're living in a world that doesn't quite know what to do with you. But your life has its own shape and its own meaning, full stop. And for the women who are single, divorced, widowed, the what's next question can feel heavier when you don't have anyone anymore to share the journey with. The loneliness is real. Naming it isn't giving up, it's honesty. Your identity is up for grabs. For years, you knew exactly who you were. You were the manager. You were the mother. You were the wife. You were the person who always took care of things. When the role shifted, who were you underneath? And I know it doesn't feel this way, but the question isn't a problem. It's an invitation. Before we get to work on this, let's clear out what doesn't work when you're looking for what's next. Staying frantically busy. Oh, you know what I mean. Doing as much as possible so you can't think about it. Busyness can look like purpose, but all it is avoidance. The calendar. Waiting until you are ready. Readiness comes after you get started, not before. If you're waiting to feel confident, you may be waiting for the thing that only change can give you. Comparing your inside to everyone's outside. Or measuring your quiet confusion with everyone's highlight reels. And that's never a fair comparison. trying to go back. Sometimes the pull to what's familiar is just fear what could be. I have a friend like that. She is so set in the comfortable and trying to go back to when she was even more comfortable. She is horribly afraid to go forward. And that is not living, because going back to a career that wasn't fulfilling or trying to stay within your safety rails is just stalling. To help you move forward, start with honesty, not a plan. Tell yourself who you are. And I don't mean the story you give your sister or your friends. I mean who you really are. What are you grateful? What are you guiltily excited about? What are you relieved by? Grief and excitement can live in the same moment. Don't rush past the feeling just to get to the solution. Get curious about what's actually true to you. Most of us have spent decades, I know I did, trying to become what other people thought of as successful. Now is the time to question all of it. What would you try? What would you stop performing? You may be surprised at what comes out once you take away the audience. Reconnect with your body kindly. Go to your doctor if you're in perimenopause or menopause and advocate for yourself. Ask about your options. Get a second opinion if you need one. You deserve real medical support, not a push through to get the appointment over with. And beyond the medical, do things that make your body feel good. Get some sleep. Sleep will help more than anything. I know. You got the hot flashes at night. I have a video on that. I'll link it in the description below. Stop punishing your body for changing and start working with it. Invest in relationships that go both ways. Friends are lifelines during this time period, but only the ones that give back to you. Tell yourself which relationships energize you and which ones you've just kept around out of habit. It's not too late to make new ones. Research has shown that social connection is the biggest contributor to well-being in midlife. Say yes to the uncomfortable invitation. Let yourself be a beginner somewhere new. Find something that asks something of you. When you feel lost, one of the best things you can do is find something that takes your full attention. Not busy stuff, just something you can jump into and fully pay attention to. It doesn't have to be a second career. It could be learning a new language, going out and building a garden, mentoring somebody, anything that puts you back in contact with the world. And don't be afraid to ask for help. Women in our generation came up like gangbusters, doing everything ourselves. We kind of see asking for help as a failure. It isn't. If you're struggling with depression, anxiety, go to a therapist. Midlife is one of the highest risk periods for depression, and you deserve actual support, not willpower. I'm going to repeat this. If you're physically struggling, go to your doctor and advocate for yourself. If you're financially struggling, go to an advisor. Even if it's not great, knowing the truth gives you power, and you can do something about it. Not knowing what's next doesn't mean something bad is coming. You're just in the middle of the story. And haven't you ever noticed the middle of the story is the messiest? You've done hard things before. You've gone through uncertainty, maybe loss, and seasons that felt like they would break you, but they didn't. You don't have to be hopeful today. You just have to stay honest, be curious, and keep moving even when the path isn't clear. The fog does lift. Clarity does come. And when it does, you're going to see why this season had to happen the way it did. Since there's fear that often comes with midlife, I'd like to recommend my video, How I Beat the Fear of Midlife. I'll link it in the description below. Don't forget to subscribe, and thanks for the chat.